This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, are you on?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, do I want to jump into Apple first? You know what? You were talking about Apple first before I talk about this craziness, but I'll ask you. Well, we'll talk about the Apple thing first. Do you see that? I sent it to you. It was like $2,000 or something for the phone, but then you said it was like, oh, but that's for the titanium model.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the specifics?
No, but it also said like 2 terabyte one. It's like the
Okay.
It'll be like the highest selling phone because it's got the most space, and I don't know if it's titanium. If that's a true thing, then probably maybe that makes sense, I guess.
So it's almost like you're getting like a mini computer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's funny because that's what's breaking the internet right now. So I didn't even read the body of the post.
Okay.
I only saw like the text on the thing. I was like, whoa, $2,000. What are we doing? It's like, this is Apple's highest. It's like close to getting a computer, right? And then you broke it down as like, no, that's just like their top tier model.
Yeah.
You know? But like now we're all thinking, it's just funny how it's like it gravitates in your mind. And that's all I think now. It's like, oh, this is going to be the most expensive iPhone ever. Like we don't actually read like the fine print.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it's like if you actually did the other one, like the ones previously, if you top tier, it's almost like 1,800 or something like that, 17 or 1,800.
Oh, so it's already like kind of close.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's just funny because it's like saliently, you know, in our minds, we only think about the text on the actual image itself. You know?
Yeah. Of course.
It's weird too because that actually came up for me recently. Somebody was asking me for my insight onto like a post that they were trying to make, and I was like, "Oh yeah, just put like the main thing you want in the image, like the text on the image." Because personally, I'm just gonna look at the image. I'm not even gonna read the body, like because it was too long. Like they wrote this long thing, and I'm like, but just like I sent to you, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be the most expensive one." But then you were like, "No, you read the caption though."
But I think,
you know what I mean? Like,
but for me, like that's where it comes down to like being like realistic. Does that even make sense for them to do that? That's where I'm like, that's where I question it, and I'm like, okay, I'll read what it says.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, fair. But it's funny because it's funny too because it's like you care enough about Apple to like read into that, you know. And I'm just like, I like the products, right? But I don't really, I don't care what they're doing. But you actually care, so it's like, oh, maybe it's like a level of care. That's why you went. To read, like I was just. I think it's more like
you know, it's more like understanding what they've been trying to do, right? Like they've been trying to also like they had like that, you know, that mini model. They had a mini model before, which was their like 12 mini, whatever. They only did it one time, but they were trying to do that to get. It was a cheaper model to get more people in, but people weren't buying it. See, they were.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Right. So they were already trying to get more people, but by making a cheaper phone, a smaller phone, but just nobody was getting it. They were going for the regular or the Pro. So, like, they discontinued. Yeah, they discontinued the
right. So, like, even for this one, it's like, oh, it's not working. We're just gonna.
Yeah. It's always but they're gonna have different tiers. Like, they cover each tier. So.
But it's funny because like the image itself didn't have like different tiers in it. It just showed like the one iPhone. It's like iPhone 12 projected to be, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" You know. But if you showed it to me like that, it's like the highest model. You know.
Yeah.
It's we're so like gripping.
But that's
you know.
That's the point of clickbait or whatever it is, right?
Like marketing, social media. Yeah, totally makes you want to read it. Yeah. You know, or like give you a specific perception.
Mm-hmm.
Again, dangerous. Can't trust that. Okay. So now I want to get into the craziness that happened last night.
Okay.
Stylebender.
Okay.
Okay, wait, hold on.
I
How am I
don't
gonna
know. I
say
don't
this
know
to
what
you?
happened.
I know. Okay, I think the smartest person to ever do MMA, like UFC, is Khabib. And
Okay.
I say that because he was on the top and then he defended his title, I think, twice. And then he was like, you know what? The longer you play this game, the more likely it is you're going to lose. There's no way, like, the sport is undefeated.
Right.
You
Right.
can't defeat the sport. Okay. So Khabib walked away. He was like, oh, now legend, right? People are like, oh, he walked away too early. He could have kept fighting, whatever. But he's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm going to lose eventually if I keep
Mm-hmm.
rolling the dice. So Stylebender destroyed the division. He fought his nemesis who beat him 2 times
Yeah.
or 3 times. Two times. No, 3 times. And then he won on the last one. So that was the last fight. And then he's fighting a new guy today, last night. And I was like not really interested because I'm like, okay, I get how this storyline's going to go. He's going to come in, use his feints, distract him, knock him out. It's going to be the same thing. But I was like, you know what? I love watching him fight. Might as well just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
He got walked down. Like it was like his opponent cracked the code. And it was like, oh, this is the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
I actually can't. I love Stylebender. He's a very like he says it himself. He's like very what do you call that? He's like petty. So like if he heard this, he'd hold it against me for the rest of my life. But I'm just saying, I love him as a fighter, but I don't see it. I don't see the indestructibility anymore. And the reason why I say that is because you know how like he does these weird jerky movements and like
Mm-hmm.
to like freak you out, and then like you go into this thing, he knocks you out.
Okay.
Like he's trying to like pull, like he's like doing all these weird movements to make you move your hands and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like you've seen him fight, right?
Yeah. I remember.
And all those memes where it's like when you don't know what to play on the video game, so you just keep like button mashing, but it's like coming out
Mhm.
jerky. So his opponent didn't play into that game. He just like shelled up and just 1-2, 1-2, 1. And there were some close knockouts. Like he had Stylebender like rocked twice, like hard rocked. And it was just, he didn't throw a single kick. His opponent didn't throw a single kick. It was 1-2 and a hook over and over and over. But because he's not playing the game of like over, you know, like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then you just see Stylebender like trying to move and like make him react, but he couldn't do it. And then he just got walked out. Like you could tell it was wild. Like I saw his spirit break in the fourth. Like when they go to the corner, ooh, it was crazy, bro. He was like, I can't find my shot. I can't find my jab. And I was like, don't panic, bro. Like, like we're watching you right now. You're panicking. He's like, I can't find my jab. I can't find my jab. And then the final round, he was just running away.
Right.
And it was like, because he didn't want to become a highlight reel. And I think he knew that. Like, this guy's got your number.
Right. Yeah,
it
of course,
was wild. Yeah. But the crazy part, too, is his opponent also trained with the guy that beat him those 3 other times or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So everybody's like, oh, this guy who's going to fight him has very basic technique. Like, he's not like a wild fighter, right? So, like, oh, Stylebender's like, oh, I'm going to, like, mop the floor with you, bro. Because you don't have any, like, you're not, like, doing some craziness, right? But you don't even need that. And that's what opened my eyes. I was like, oh, you can like create these feints and like all this stuff. But then if you're fighting against somebody that's just not playing that game and just keeps walking forward, you know, he's just like shelled up, walk forward, 1-2, walk forward. And then like you see like Stylebender like panic.
Yeah, his stuff is not
like,
working. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was like, and then watching the corner thing, it was like, oh, your spirit's broken, bro. You know, and which was sad to see, but you should have walked away. Like you should have walked away when you beat that other guy. Like he's on the top. He dropped out. Like his documentary just came out and it's getting so much acclaim, right? Because he talks about like mental health and like all that stuff, and like it's becoming super popular. His documentary. So it's like just ride on that, bro. Like you really don't need to come back into the cage. We knew you were great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Yeah, he was saying
Is
like
he gonna
after.
come back again, or is he done?
So this is the crazy part. So the head of the UFC, he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to see the rematch." Like he's like, "Of course we want to see the rematch." And I was like, "No, it's gonna play out the exact same way, bro." Like there was nothing. He wasn't like eating those feints. You know what I mean? Like the guy
Okay.
was, but it was like you kind of figure out the trick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, I get what you're doing. I'm not gonna let you do this to me, right? So Stylebender in the post fight interview, he just said like, he's like, today wasn't my day, and I'm gonna leave this interview up to somebody more smart than me. So he put his coach. He didn't even do the interview because he knew it was like, and then he put on social media, I hate losing, but I love living even more. So
Okay.
like you know what I mean, like he didn't want like brain damage, and because he got rocked, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Right. Yeah.
he got like dropped, and then the guy like started
Oh,
hitting him,
really?
and I was like, oh,
Okay.
it's like it was
Oh,
like,
that
oh, you're gonna
close.
lose.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so cool. And then he kept saying like, I'm good, but he's getting like beat up, and you're like, oh, like that could have been it. That could have been it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened twice. It wasn't even one time.
Okay.
So it was like, I don't see this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just funny because, like, egoically, you want to keep the high riding, but it's like, what is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like only Khabib did it, where he's like, no, I'm not going to let this sport eat me alive.
Mm-hmm.
But why did people keep fighting? I don't understand, you know?
I think it depends on their lifestyle. What happens to in their lifestyle? Like, did
Oh, you
he?
think he's like
No,
making
like,
so much money and he's like, I need to.
yeah, because the
Or
amount of
you think he
money.
got soft?
No. It's just like you're spending so much more money now that you're like I don't know. Is he still living? Like, where
Or
does he
to
live?
keep that lifestyle
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so he lives in Auckland, and apparently, what he did was he took all of his money and he invested it. He gave it to his dad, who's an accountant, and his dad like invested it in all these places.
Okay.
So he's like, I don't actually need to fight anymore, but I just love fighting.
So okay.
But then it's kind of like, then why are you fighting? You know, like so many people have said that MMA is an opportunity. It's not a career. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can't like do this forever. You see
Yeah,
all the
of
greats
course.
fall.
Yeah.
And yesterday I saw him fall, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Dang, bro!" It was like not even a. It wasn't even like a like. It's like you saw the end of a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like his cool trick.
Right.
That, but I think that's the thing that like
Well, what
MMA
happened
really
with the
teaches
other
you.
guy?
Yeah.
When he lost the other guy twice before?
What happened to that guy?
Yeah, I mean, like
Did they
what
rematch or
happened
whatever?
at that time? No, I know that he won eventually, but that was you said third or second round or something.
Yeah. Well, that was different sports though. He lost to him in like kickboxing and then
Oh,
like different
okay.
organizations.
Oh,
This is
not
the
and
first. Yeah, and then he lost
okay.
in UFC, and then he won in UFC.
Oh, okay.
So this is Stylbender's like next UFC loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like watching it, it was like, oh, you have to be well rounded in this sport
Mm-hmm.
because like Stylebender has no grappling, right? It's all striking. He has grappling, but like he's not gonna
Right.
attack you with grappling. His grappling is just so that he can stand back up. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's not gonna win with like an armbar or something. No
Mm-hmm.
submission win. And like Max Holloway. You know Max. We went to see him
Oh,
fought
yeah.
against right. So that guy, he's my other favorite fighter, and he at least has grappling, and so he's known as a striker, but he's grappling. So it's like, okay, if this fight's going the wrong way, you can switch it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? But like Stylebender's one's like, oh, your trick's not working. How do we pivot? You'd have no other tools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like what I saw last night is like you can't pivot. Like if you had grappling, it's like, oh, he's outstriking you. You have to switch.
Yeah.
But
To get in more and yeah, do
right, you know what
submissions
I'm
or
saying?
something. Yeah.
Yeah, like a different winning strategy, but there was no other option, and it was like your thing got figured out. Yeah, I was kind of disappointing, but also at the same time, it's like Khabib said, like you play long enough, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that makes sense.
but that's why I think he's like the most. I think there's something about religion, man. Like there's something about or like coming from a poor country. You know, like Stylebender, like he didn't have money either, but Khabib was from the mountain, right? So he's like, it's almost like the ego is out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like so with Stylebender, as he was getting more and more fame, he was like, "Oh, I'm the best. I'm the best." He was like, you know, becoming more extravagant. So I kind of like lost a bit of interest because I was like, "Okay, I get I get it. You love anime. You're being you,
Right.
you know, authentic self, whatever, whatever." But then it was just like, I don't know, like he's like, "I'm undefeatable," you know, whatever, whatever. Like the ego got so, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, it got to his head. Yeah.
Right? And then when he got like destroyed, not just I wouldn't say destroyed. He got shut down. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't get destroyed, but he got shut down. And with Khabib, he was always like, I don't care, let's fight. Even when Connor versus him, and then the back and forth interview, he's like, I don't care about this, let's just fight. He
Yeah,
only
yeah.
cares about fighting. You know, he's like a war machine. And like that almost shows you the discipline or something. Like, you know, he's like, I'm not going to get caught up in this game. That's
Mhm.
the one thing he said. He's like, I'm not going to let this thing use me.
Right.
You know? But I think it's like, I don't know, religion, being in the
I
mountain.
don't think necessarily. It could be religion or just the morals that he was given.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's more
Totally.
that than anything else.
Right? Like where he's like he's looking at realistically.
Yeah, yeah. And he still lives there, right? He doesn't.
Yeah.
You know
He
what I'm
doesn't
saying?
live in like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's
So he
like
doesn't
living a
need.
normal
Yeah, he doesn't need like as much money because he's not living in a. You know.
right. So he's like, why am I chasing this fame and this whatever, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. He already has that in his own town, but that's it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Actually, yeah. And like I follow his other teammates and they're always hanging out together because they're always training. They grew up together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they it's cool to see like how they live. So they post, you know, like if you look at like famous fighters and stuff, they have like mansions and stuff,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when they post like the videos of them hanging out, there's a TV on the ground and then just a table and like a carpet. There's like nothing. This
Right.
nothing's extravagant. I think he drives like a Toyota, like Khabib.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
you know, he's like, yeah, I don't need this craziness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess, yeah, the morals you grew up with and
Mm-hmm.
like not looking for the fame.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it's done. Like all of my like UFC, it was kind of getting boring to me a little bit because I was like, I get it. Like they're all gonna run their cycle, and like I only care about the fighters I like. But now that I'm watching the fighters that I loved like slowly like die off,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like there's nobody left to like cheer for.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I feel like I'm like aging out of UFC now because I'm like I don't know. Like, I don't know these young people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe like Khabib's protege who's like grew up with him. I'll watch that fight, but like all these other up and comers, I'm like I don't really care. But like I don't know you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So um yeah, well, it's sad night. But speaking of which,
Yeah.
um I was thinking about this as well. So in terms of like what I just said about the UFC and like fighters that you're like rooting for, okay, I saw Equalizer 3.
Okay.
Who is the other legend in the up and coming world? So we had like Denzel Washington, right? We had
Yeah.
like Vin Diesel, like all these like heroes we
Okay.
grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always being played in like The Rock, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But who's next? That's how I feel about the UFC too. It's like who's next? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Timothy Oliphant from Dune, maybe? I don't know. Like you tell me, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like Christian Bale, right? We're like Christian Bale watching that movie. Or like Daniel Craig, we gotta watch that movie. Ryan
Right.
Reynolds, we gotta watch that movie. You know what I mean? But like who's the next who's like a top tier draw now? I don't know. Like in the next generation. Not
Yeah.
our
Yeah. Yeah.
generation.
Yeah. I don't.
But
Uh.
think about it. Like really think about that. That's interesting, eh?
Mhm.
Do you know?
Uh. No, I don't know. I don't think I know anyone.
Isn't
No.
isn't that interesting? It's
Mhm.
like we can't really it almost like speaks to the internet, you know? We're all becoming like when there was like very few medium sources, you had these people rise up. Like Denzel Washington's not a good actor. You know,
Yeah.
he does like crying scenes and stuff, but you like watch it, you're like, oh, you're playing the same guy every time, you know? Um, but he was like a champion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's the movies that he chose that were good.
but also there was
before.
like not like they didn't have Netflix, they
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
like
yeah.
Prime, they didn't have Apple TV, they didn't have all these competing things, right? It was like you can only watch the movies, and if Denzel's in it, we're all gonna remember
True.
Denzel,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. These are the guys that
And
were
it's sort of
bringing
like
the money. Yeah, bringing the
right, right,
audience.
right.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like UFC too. It's like there's just so many fighters now. It's like who are you gonna keep up with?
Hmm.
You know, almost like it's almost like you're so inundated with information that you don't know what's good anymore. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that like hit me because I was like, I really don't know who's like a mega like Ben Affleck. But that was our time. That's like who
No, yeah,
else?
that's what,
You know?
yeah. Well, we'll see in the next few years when that happens. I guess I don't know.
Like, do you see anyone like slowly popping up? Maybe Timothy Oliphant, that guy. Zendaya, maybe.
Yeah, but they're in a
Tom
different.
Holland, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of movie. Maybe
Yeah.
like can Robert Pattinson make it that big?
But like
I don't know.
maybe like he was like technically I would put Robert Pattinson in our time because he was in Twilight. That's when he like started to become famous. He was in Harry Potter.
True, but this is
He's
like him being
really,
Batman is a very different.
for sure, but that's it though. It's like okay, you're Batman.
Hmm. Or Denzel's
You know?
kid.
Yeah, but that's like but you're Denzel's. But
Yeah,
we'll always
that's
know you're
different.
Denzel's kid. You know, it's like you're never gonna escape your father's shadow.
True. Yeah.
You know? I didn't even know he was Denzel's
I
kid
didn't
until
know.
you
I didn't
told
know.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when I found out, it's like, oh, okay, you're Denzel's kid for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never look at you as like JD Washington,
Right.
right? So who is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, there's so many things, like so many like ways to watch different shows or like streaming things. Now it's like
Right?
also I think a lot of things have changed in the sense that before it was like you come from TV and you go to movies. That's where you become big. But
Oh,
now
interesting.
you become
Okay.
big even from TV.
Right, right, right,
So
right, right, right.
that's also where it's different.
Okay. Oh, that's a great segue into another question I had for you. Name so Game of Thrones biggest show of all time,
Sure.
right?
I
Yeah,
think yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone is good. All right. All right. So who made it out of Game of Thrones?
Who made it big out of Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Tara's like Amelia, like
She's relative.
and I was
Yeah.
like, no, like what? Name me a movie. I was like, what movie?
Well, it will only be Dothraki guy, the Jason
But
Momoa.
his movies aren't good. But his movies aren't good though.
But he's pretty big, famous though.
All right, fair, fair, fair. He is pretty big, but I wouldn't say he got big through Game of Thrones. What was the next thing that he did after Game of Thrones? Like we weren't like when you saw him, you weren't like, oh, it's the Dothraki guy.
Hmm.
You know, there was something that he did that
I don't
made
know
us.
what
Was
he
it
did
Aquaman?
after.
Was it Aquaman?
Maybe.
Because there was something that made us like switch in our mind. Like we weren't like we didn't watch Game of Thrones. We're like, oh, I want to keep up with that guy's career because he
Hmm.
didn't even speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was something else that he did, and then we were like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to this guy. But he isn't a good actor. Like there's no,
No, no, no.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but I was saying to like, this actually all came up because you know, the Red Sansa,
Yeah.
she's getting a divorce from Joe Jonas or something, like
Okay, yeah,
Nick
sure.
Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers, right? So she getting divorced, and then like Tara was like, "Oh, do you think she has money like for the rest of her life, or does she have to work again?"
Hmm.
I was like, I don't really know. Like maybe you get residual money off of Game of Thrones, but I saw this like Breaking Bad thing, and they don't get money when it's streamed on Netflix. So I don't know, but I was like, she might need to work, but how is she gonna work?
Hmm.
Because like, what has she been in? That's good, and then made me think like, because you start off as a kid, it's almost like this is just something I do, and I'm always gonna have a career. Like as a kid, you're like, oh, I'm always gonna have a career. But like then there are actors. There's like Christian Bale, Keith Ledger, people that take that seriously. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Leo DiCaprio, where it's like acting for you is like an art form.
Mhm.
It's not a job. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
feel like those child actors, even though like Leo technically was a child actor, but like they like something about Sansa and like the other girl, the other her
And
sister on the show,
Macy Williams.
Macy Williams. Yeah, so it's like I feel like because you were a kid when this happened, it was almost like just something you did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like let's hone this craft, let's make it like better. How are we gonna, you know?
Yep.
Like, what do you think?
It depends.
Like, there's 2 degrees, right?
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
actor,
yeah, yeah. Depends on how seriously you actually take acting.
and I
I
feel
don't
like
think
none
that's.
of them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think that there's a lot of people that do that, right?
right? Yeah,
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 especially when they're
totally.
kids, they're not really like. I don't know how like their parents are the ones them putting them in, or right.
Yeah,
So it's like, do
exactly.
they really want that, or like, what do they think afterwards, right? Some of them even like even the Harry Potter people, like where are they at, right?
Exactly. That's what I said to you. That's my next thing. I was like, Harry Potter. Like
Yeah.
after Harry Potter, what they do? And then Tara was like, oh, Emma Watson. And I was like, yeah, but she didn't do a movie. Like she tried, wasn't good, but she went to like UN. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like, and Daniel Radcliffe is coming back. I saw this like photo of him getting super jacked, but like,
He's been doing movies, but a lot
I
of
mean,
them are independent or
yeah, right. They're not like amazing. You're not like
yeah.
they're not the Harry Potter tier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a gift and a curse, you know? It's almost like UFC, like being in these big movies. It's like this is an opportunity. It's not a career.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get this one movie, people will know you forever, but you have to know what you're doing next.
But I
With
think
like
yeah, for kids though, it's also like it's it's hard to really know their acting chops, kind of thing. Like it's just to a certain
am I an
point,
actual actor?
yeah,
Yeah. True.
and to hire
Because you only
them like to do other movies, you don't really know if they're gonna be like they would have to probably
big,
audition and
yeah.
do all that stuff again.
True, 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 true. Yeah. Like maybe even acting too. It's like acting is just like the UFC. It's like an opportunity, but it's not a career.
Mm-hmm.
It's a career for some, you know? Like I know some really old UFC fighters that do broadcasting now. They transition from being a fighter to a broadcaster,
Yeah,
right? There's something for them to do.
or
But
coach too,
like
right? Is coach?
yeah, or a coach, yeah, a
Yeah.
coach, you can do that, you know, transition. But with like it's almost like if you take it for or if you think this is the be all end all, it'll eat you up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like so many actors like that too. Like remember like in the '90s, all these amazing actors and they just fell off. Like where's Sandra Bullock now? But you remember for like all those, you're like, oh yeah, she was in all those other movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now it's like yeah,
Well, they
you
don't
can't
have to
sustain
do
it.
as much movies anymore, but when they do, they do some, but not like.
But like not like they're not like in the main like Leo. Like the only ones I can think of are like Leo, Christian Bale. You'll always get like a big hitter, Brad Pitt. You'll always get like a
Mm-hmm.
big hit movie off of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they take it as a craft, but other than that, it's like, yeah, they just like fall off after some time,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I think yeah, it goes back to it. We've been talking about this so much, but like those collective things that everyone knows during the time. You know, like I follow like the '90s kid account, and everything they post on there, I'm like laughing, and I'm like, oh, liking it because it's
Mhm.
like we went through that, you know. It like
Yeah.
there's one post about like you had a hard day. I don't know if I sent you this. It was like you had a hard day of like homework or like whatever, and then you put this on, and then it's just like the loading screen for or the opening screen for Halo
Yeah.
with the sound, and you're like, oh yeah, like it brings you back. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we did used to do that. So it's like these right, these like collective moments that no one will ever forget, and I feel like those are going away. You know,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's for today's kids, right? They'll have their own.
that's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You think that they'll have their own. Okay. So I was also thinking about this one. I think the new version of that isn't going to be localized to a generation. I think all right, so you know like for us it's like 90s kids, right? And then you have all those things that you remember that are 90s kids. I think they're going to be timestamps now, like 2020s. It won't be like remember. It won't be like
Oh,
we're
you
the
mean like
90s
by
kids.
1 year
It'll be like
each
yeah,
year?
and
Yeah.
right. And I think everyone's gonna all follow the exact same thing. We'll all remember the thing that happened that year, like COVID,
Mm-hmm.
right? For example, it's like, where were you during COVID? Because we're becoming so global, and like there's so
Yeah.
many mediums now that people can take part of. I don't think we're gonna have like 90s kid jokes anymore. It'll just be like time period
Sure.
jokes,
Yeah. I think that makes more sense. Yeah.
right? I guess technically,
That's just because we're not
like what I'm
watching TV all at the same time, right? We don't do that anymore.
right, right. But there are like collective things that everyone engages in a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, so like with the 90s kid thing, it's like that was localized to people who grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like you had to have grown up in the 90s, right? But I think now it's like with Wednesday, One Piece, and the other one, Stranger Things, time periods.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you remember when Stranger Things took off? Remember when Wednesday took off?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when One Piece took off?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I think everyone will remember that, like regardless of age.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll all remember like the Wednesday era,
Sure.
the Barbie
Yeah.
era. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're so global now as like a species because of the internet.
Yeah.
We can all watch it and stuff. Which brings me to One Piece. Did you try it? No, not the anime, the live action.
No, not further than what I had said before.
Okay, so how far did you get?
I don't remember.
Did you finish an episode?
No, I didn't finish an episode. No.
Same. Did you watch Wednesday?
No, I haven't seen Wednesday. I saw a bit.
Yeah, a bit. Same. Did you watch? Did you watch? What was the other one? Stranger Things.
Yes.
Oh, you watched the whole Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you it tapered then, because Stranger Things came out first, so you watched the whole thing. Wednesday, you're like, I'll watch a bit, and then One Piece, you didn't even finish an episode.
No.
So
yeah,
for me,
yeah, no.
right, it kind of tapered, right? For me, I didn't watch all three, and the irony of that whole thing is that One Piece just beat out Stranger Things and Wednesday.
Yes.
Everybody's on everybody's on the One Piece thing, and I was like, what is that? What is it that turns both of us off, but turns everyone on? Everyone was all Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, Oppenheimer, what are you guys doing? Well, what? You know what I mean? Like,
sure. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was, but there's something about One Piece that was just like basic, you know?
I mean, I don't know.
But they're like, oh, it's
but there's a lot
booming.
of people that
Everyone's-
liked it. Yeah. Even the people that who know the show liked it, or who watched the show liked it.
As I'm sure that they probably liked Barbie. As I'm sure that they probably liked Wednesday. As I'm sure they probably like Stranger Things.
Mhm.
Like, there's something off-putting about these major things with like no substance. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Oppenheimer, substance.
Sure.
Barbie, it tried to have substance,
Mhm.
but it was more like it fell short of the mark. Like, I think people were like laughing at not the substance. I was like, oh, I get what you're trying to say, but the delivery's weird,
Mhm.
you know? But people love the delivery.
Right.
So, like, all right, for example, all right, so One Piece. Do you really think that if we go further into live action, they're going to go into government conspiracies?
If they continue it,
No, yeah, sure.
I
Like,
think-
One Piece blew up
sure. Why not? Why would you say no?
because the heaviness of where I'm at in One Piece is so like controversial that
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't think you'll delve into that because you're looking for something that is going to make us all happy. it's going to like.
I know what you're saying,
like
but
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. But I feel like if they do that, they lose a lot of their core, not core audience.
Oh no, for sure.
Like the core,
how many
core
times,
audience of One Piece.
how
Yeah.
right? So how many times that happened though? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
it happened to.
You're like,
it's like Witcher too, right? Like Witcher.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like, oh, just wait for it to get crappy. Like it'll just get crappy.
Well, that's
like
why
you're never gonna
he left, right?
Right. So there you go. See what I mean? So it's like if you're true to the actual like lore of it, or like if you're authentic to the actual piece, you know, then you'll make it controversial. But I don't think that's what we're shooting for. I think we're like dulling ourselves down with like entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Or okay, best example.
I think
it
it depends on the what's happening in society. I feel just
okay.
That's generally what happens, right?
Okay. So this dovetails right into what I was just about to say. So in Rome, Caesar said, "Just give them bread and games." Mm-hmm. This is like straight up his tactic. He's like, if you want to control people, bread and games, food and entertainment. And I feel like that's where we're at now. I'm like, oh, are we in Rome? What's going on now? You know, because like
I think it depends on. I think it's like before there were controversial stuff. No, like when, like after 9/11 stuff. Then
because we were going to war, we had to hype people up.
Yeah,
we had to like.
But then it ended up going into the government conspiracies and things like that too, right? Didn't they?
Yeah. They did. They did. They did. That's a great point. They did. Okay, let me go back to the war point first. They noticed there's a correlation between when war movies come out and signups to the army.
Sure. Yeah.
So could be maybe they're just like trying to prop people up to join the army. But in terms of like the conspiracy stuff, yeah, I totally agree with you. Name me a contemporary thing. We're equally dealing with craziness.
No, yeah.
Right, but like, what's another? Like, do you remember Safe House?
Yeah.
You remember during that time period there was the Matrix, even like they're talking about like, like really heavy stuff.
Yeah, Born series.
Born, yeah, totally. So yeah, right. Sleeper Cell, right? But we are dealing with an equally crazy amount of things happening right now. Like, sure, you could say 9/11 was insane, but we went through a worldwide pandemic. And it's turning out that there's some conspiracies related to this worldwide pandemic. Where are movies on that?
I think that's where it is too much. You get what I'm saying? There's like a point of...
Oh, interesting.
There's a point of where it's like... Where they're like, right after that stuff, there was tons of conspiracies. And all that was on the internet was just conspiracies, right? Like, I'm not saying like they're all false or not.
Wait, we're talking about 9/11 or we're talking about...
no, COVID.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
That there's a plateau to it too, where it's just too much.
What do you mean? Oh, it's like too much
conspiracy.
Too much truth?
Yeah. Just there's a point of that where you've reached where it's like I don't care anymore. Like I just
like entertainment.
It's
fatigue.
You've got to it's like a fatigue of conspiracies because there was just a ton of them, right?
Right.
That now it's just like I think it's not something that's attractive to the audience.
Interesting.
So we're in a phase of being like, I want to have something fun. Like I think I had enough of the conspiracies. Let's do something. And then I think it'll eventually die. This will die down, and then these whatever other things will come back up. Yeah, it all depends on what's happening in society.
It's like we had too much trauma.
Yeah, I think
like
so. Yeah.
9/11 was traumatic, but we had an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, yeah, we got bombs. Or we got like a plane.
There was so many of those movies, right? So many of the against terrorists. Yeah. But then that stopped because there's just too much now.
Interesting.
So they're just following through. I think they're just making movies based on what's happening in society, what they prefer to watch.
Yes. And you think that we are we just want to be massaged for a little bit?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's why why did Fast 9 or whatever they did so well, right? Like these are movies that I don't like them as much. Or even Mission Impossible was like that, right? It wasn't like an actual traditional Mission Impossible. It was very different.
Totally.
But that made so much money too.
But do you think we want to be massaged?
I think at
Or
this
do you
point,
think, no, wait. Do you think we
okay.
want to be massaged? All right, I'll leave this because I have to. I drank too much Monster, so give me a second. But I'm gonna leave you this, and we're gonna jump back. So, do you think that we want to be massaged, or do you think that we're being manipulated? Pause. Okay, we're back. So, giving you some time to think about it. What do you think?
I think it's more massaged.
Really?
Yeah, because then if you would say that, then Oppenheimer would never have come out.
No, for sure, for sure. Okay. I agree with you. Oppenheimer wouldn't have come out. Or are there like vanguards of people who are trying to like give us truth still amidst the manipulation?
Well, that's just the style of
Christopher
the movie.
Nolan.
Yeah, that's the style of that movie that he does, right? But like, if you look at it, like they still released it, but the ones that are making more money, that's kind of where the people who are putting money into movies would go. Well, hey,
Oh
Barbie
yeah.
made 1 billion. This guy made Oppenheimer made 500 million. Well, we got to make more movies like Barbie or that style, right?
Fair. It's like the market is driving
Yeah, it's the market
the just
forces.
yeah, that's what do you free market forces.
Yeah.
It's the hand invisible hand.
Hmm.
That's what they call in marketing or business, where it's like the invisible hands pushing the market in
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, true, actually, because then it would have made more money. Yeah. But why? What is that? Like I'm just personally sad that we, like we grew up in a time of like truth seeking and all that, and now we're
Hmm.
kind of just like, eh. But
Well, it
let
seems
me just
like
not
a
think
lot of
about it.
the it seems like a lot of the conspiracies in a way like online have now turned towards like it being right wing versus left wing. Like that's the shift, right? And money's in left wing right
Yeah.
now, right? For these types of movies.
Ooh, good call. Good call about the left wing thing. All right, let me slightly pivot and ask you an interesting question as well. What what does it mean to decolonize an area?
I don't know what is that? What do you mean?
Like like people like decolonize whatever. Like what does that mean? It's what? All right, it's sort of like because the
Like we,
left
we
right
we
now.
agree on this kind of stuff, but like we don't. I don't believe in
You know
this
what I mean?
decolonization. I don't know what that means. Like,
Exactly. And I really think that these platitudes, like it's like the Barbie thing. These platitudes are. It goes back to like the iPhone thing. Remember, I was like, oh, the
mhm.
iPhone's very expensive, right? But it's like you didn't read the fine print. Like the the platitudes that are going around in society right now about like decolonization. Remember, like the defund the police as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we're like, wait a minute. Actually, you should probably give them more money for education,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
take this
Exactly.
away.
That's what doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And like then who's going to apply to these police jobs if you're going to give them less money? It's a very dangerous job. Like you got to think about these things.
Yeah.
They need equipment,
But defund the police makes a very attractive slogan.
right? Okay, that's what I mean. So like, what does decolonization mean? And I'm just like, I'm actually genuinely curious about this.
Hmm.
Like I'm at like what do you mean by that? You know?
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing like a lot of hate related to that, like going back and forth right now. And like I saw this meme and I was like, yeah, that's true though. So like there's this the meme was this person was like decolonize this school and it showed a nice, university. And then they're like, okay. And then it became a hut.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, because that's the product of colonization. You make things better.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean to like decolonize? Like you want me to take away all the inventions? Do you want me to take away you know what I'm saying?
Right, but then it's like really, if you understand colonizing, it ends up being like you're sharing ideas. Like that's what it will end up happening, and that's been happening for thousands and thousands of years, right?
That's my point. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Like this is just what humans do.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if it's not even like we say like decolonize this, right? But you're thinking like the last 100 years. But if you look into history, right? Like the Genghis Khan, the Persians, the Romans, they
Hmm.
all did this.
Yeah,
This is just what we do as a species. We run out of resources. We try and get more new resources. We go to another place. We build war. Even if you're like like, why do we go to war? Like, what is the byproduct of war? You want to colonize an area,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You don't think like even indigenous people colonized each other? There was no wars between them. You thought there was just like peacetime.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
I think
right?
I think today, I mean, outside of the Ukraine situation, but that's a different area. But like in the general sense of around the world, we're at the most peacetime in at any time in our history or human
Yeah, totally.
history.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a book on that actually. There's the book. I forgot it was by Steven Pinker. I read it. It was like how if you go back to that time, like everyone,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
that everyone glorifies, like yeah, okay, no penicillin, no antibiotics, no anesthesia. What are we
Right.
talking about here?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
want? You know?
yeah.
But these are all the products of colonization because you have to go to an area and like
Well,
share
I think it's
resources,
like an enlightenment
figure out
period too.
ideas.
Yeah, I mean, colonization happened, but the enlightenment from that was like, well, people w- gave back their independence to to the countries, right? Like they
Yeah,
be
totally.
right. So it's like it's not like we're colonizing still. It's just it's not like that right now.
Yeah, no, totally. So, well, because the players in the game are already set. Like we have the world powers. We can't really undo
Sure, but
what we've done.
there's no like countries that they're still colonizing. You know what I mean? Like that's all.
Oh, because the world's been because the
Yeah,
world's been like
yeah.
taken over. Most of the world. There's certain parts that like the Amazon, But yeah, I know what you mean.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's confusing me because then they throw these ideas at you. Like I heard this one recently, and I was so confused. Like somebody's like, "Hey, um, don't stick to a meeting time because sticking to meeting times is a colonization idea. Is a colonizer idea." I'm like, "You mean being punctual? Like Asians do that too, bro."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Your confusion was just as confusing as mine." I was like, "What? Like, hold on. No, no, no. We need this time block because I need to go do work,
Yeah, yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what
I can't have this run for the whole day. Like, what are we trying to do out here? You know?
yeah.
Like, oh, but that's a colonizer mentality." I'm like, no, that's a punctual mentality, but that's an economics bait. Like, I understand what we're doing. Like, time is gold, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, what are we doing? And some people were like, yeah, that's right. And then I'm over here like, what? I don't get it. But then I was like, oh, you really want to decolonize? Like maybe get rid of taxes. Like just don't pay your tax.
hmm.
That's more so a colonizer idea than sticking to a meeting time. Why aren't we talking about not paying
Sure.
taxes?
Right.
Right? Because who invented taxes? Did the indigenous have taxes? No. You can't own the land if you're indigenous. Like there's no ownership of land. That's why the Canadians came in and or the British and they're
Sure,
just
sure.
like,
Right, right, right.
we own the land now. So then
But I mean, like, it
so then
depends on what you mean by taxes, right? I guess. Like, if this traditional
no
sense, sure, sure.
tax
Yeah.
no traditional like we have to pay tax every year.
Right, right,
So
right.
why is it why
But I
why
mean,
aren't people
like
like, dude,
in a
decolonize that, bro?
tribe, let's just say, like, wouldn't their version of tax be like your work and effort in the tribe for not doing your work and effort?
Um, all right, maybe that's like yeah, I see the jump you're making, but what I'm saying is like if we're just strictly talking about
Sure,
like
sure. Yeah.
straight up colonizer things, like why are you paying taxes then? Shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
we all protest and not pay taxes?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I go onto your house's property? Because you don't own,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. Right,
Land
right, right.
ownership is not real. Like that is a colonizer thing. So I'm just gonna go into your house and just live there.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you can't live in my house. I own this house. We don't own land, bro. Like that's decolonize that own landowner. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I get
making
what
it
you're
a
saying.
joke
Yeah, 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 yeah,
lightly.
yeah.
Like I'm kind of poking fun at it, and like people would not be happy with what I'm saying. But it's true though. It's like just like really think about it. It's like really you're gonna argue meeting times. Like let's actually talk about ownership. Like that's a real thing. That's a like but
Mm-hmm.
we like
Yeah.
we can decolonize some things, but not all things. So it's like, okay, this is just a nitpicking. It's like it's what you want. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
what it
like,
feels like. Yeah.
and that's how I feel about a lot of these things. Like this Barbie thing. It's like, why are these things so dumb? Like it's because you don't understand the full issue at hand. Because it's more complex than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Right, like right. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we are at a society. It's just straight confusion and just propaganda.
I
and
don't think.
ruling.
Yeah, I don't think we want something too complex right now. I think that's where society's at. It seems like.
Right, totally. And then we're just arguing, we're just yelling at each other.
Yep.
Like, I really don't understand. Like, did you do any prior reading to this? This makes no sense. Like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
You think that's a valid argument? I think that's a dick move. If I said that. Like, if they're like, hey, man, don't stick to the meeting time, because the mom's like, oh, cool. Can you actually take off the tax addition that you withdrew from my amount of money because I don't want to be a part of the colonization? They'd be like, what? I'm like, no, actually, because that's a
Well, yeah,
they
sure.
brought
Yeah,
that
you
in.
can. Why not bring that up? Yeah, because he's bringing up
No, but
something
like,
about meetings.
right, but that's like kind of a jerk move. But I'm like,
Sure.
but it's real though.
Yeah.
So it's like, how far do we want to go into reality?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you shouting for nothing?
Right.
You know, like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. But like,
No. I think that makes more sense. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like where people have any power of making impact, which is probably since they set meetings up or whatever, right? Taxes are not in their control. They're voting for government.
yeah,
So
like, go protest the government. Like, then why are you shouting? You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of energy to put out negatively for something that you are wrong on. But I feel like a lot of people now base their it's 100% of people, they base their identity on their idea, right? If their idea is wrong, it means I'm wrong. Oh no, that's gonna hurt my ego, right? But it's like, if you're just like, no, these are just ideas, like what's correct, what's not, like let's just look at this objectively, right? Then you're not gonna be hurt. You're just looking at new information.
Yeah.
It's just new information.
Right.
But if you don't have that capacity, then how can you ever learn or grow? You're really just shouting for your opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's also why I like to work in these spaces, because to me, it's like I bring balance to it, you know, because I hear him like, oh, no, that's fully correct. But I do it nicely. I don't want to do it that much. You ever think about, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but now we're in this world of like confusion, and it's playing out through our media. Like, why are these things popular? Anyways, yeah. Okay, so I wanted to bring up one thing, and then I have an interesting last topic. So, you know how we were saying like that DBZ and Naruto, One Piece is like the complete merger of DBZ and Naruto?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Turns out Luffy can go Super Saiyan. He has like, so they're called gears.
Okay.
So like, interesting, right? Like, so he'll go like gear 1 and then he'll like pump himself up. Then there's gear 2, like just basically different levels of power. And everyone was freaking do you see those memes recently about like gear 5 and everyone's talking about gear 5?
No.
It looks like oh, okay. It's like Luffy with white hair. It's like him going Super Saiyan 4. But,
okay.
Right. But I guess like the perfect description is, One Piece is like Naruto meets Dragon Ball Z. But I don't know if they're poking fun at other anime. Like, it's almost like a satire of a show.
There may be elements of it. I wonder if it depends. You got to look at the person who created it. Like, what was his meaning behind it?
True, fair. Because Ray said that Goku makes an appearance in the show, spoiler alert. Yeah. There's like a little arc where like Goku shows up in One Piece. And they like has an interaction. And then One Piece also paid homage to Naruto. Like, they drew some of their characters in a way that you can kind of be like, oh, that's from Naruto.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's also why I like the show. It's like, it's about society. It's satirical. It's like, yeah. Anyways, all right. So last thing, I thought this was pretty cool. We started off with watching Kardashians, right?
Okay.
Like Kardashians.
Yeah.
Okay, so we finished that, and we're waiting for the new season. So we're like, that's why Tara asked you to like get that upgrade to the account. So we're watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the original. So we're starting from round 1.
Okay.
All right. You know what's a mind blow? it's like a character arc One Piece story. Let's get anime. No, it's wild, bro. So like you start as like Kardashians. They're like balling. They got private jets. They got
Mm-hmm.
like all this cosmetic surgery. You go to season 1, episode 1. They have none of that, bro. It's wild. They look average. They look like if you saw like Kim
Yeah, yeah,
Kardashian, you
yeah,
know what
yeah.
she looks like, right? If you look at her in the season 1, like I even tell like just Google her. Season 1, episode 1. You look at her, you're like, oh, I would have never looked twice at you. Like you're so average.
Right.
But then and then like the Kylie and Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of them? Like the
Yeah, yeah,
two
yeah, yeah,
they're like models now, right? So in the show in season 1, they're like 12 years old, bro. They're doing like regular kid things.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're like running around like annoying their older brother. Um, they're like asking for puppies.
Right.
Like they're just doing like a regular. They're like swing on poles. Like they're like little kid. Like if you see like a little kid, you're like, oh, you're like a little kid, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's wild to watch that crazy development, and I'm excited to watch it because it's almost like a One Piece series. Like you watch somebody's like slow grind
right,
development, and
right.
then now you're like these megastars. They were going to like Vegas in yesterday's episode, and they're like, let's all go to Vegas. I'm like, oh, cool. They're gonna be in their private jet. They took a bus, bro. I was like, what?
Mm.
But it's so interesting. It's like you cracked the code on society. You became this crazy megastar, but you could start from season 1, episode 1. Like they definitely got like plastic surgery, bro.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like they look so regular. Their bodies look so regular. And it's like what have it's I like you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
mind blow.
yeah,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
what one, it's really cool to watch that development, but two, it's like, wow, you could really take someone so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this line where it's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Because you could just get that work done, bro.
True.
And then what made me think about as I was watching the show is like, Tara and I were laughing about it. It's like their kids are gonna look so regular. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Kanye's kids. Like if you look at them in the show now, they look so regular. And like Kendall and Kylie's. Oh, not Kendall's kids. She doesn't have kids. But Kylie's kids, like they're gonna look so regular.
Right. Yeah.
But we glorify these people for what? We look at. You know what I mean? Like people are like, I want to look like Kendall. I mean, not Kendall. I want to look like Kim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I want,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
big
Right,
waist,
right,
like,
right, right.
like, and you're like, yeah. If you only watch now, I could see how that would mess you up as a kid.
Sure.
Like you're like, I want to look like that. I want to look like that. But if you go to season 1, episode 1, you're like, they actually look just like you, bro. Like they're really regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like when we talk about like body dysmorphia for like kids and like why do they have insecurities?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh yeah, it's just because it's filters. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
social
yeah,
media,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the kids, right? They have like that anxiety of like, I can't be beautiful too,
Mhm.
right? But then you watch the Kardashians, you're like, oh, it also has to do with your money and like plastic surgery.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the collective brainwashing we're all taught? Like we've been discussing this entire time. Yeah, we're like, are we even in reality anymore?
Yeah, I think that's
Like, what is?
yeah.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
forget that what they've done to get to that point. People, right? Like, but if you're depending on when you're joining the show, yeah, if you've been
Yeah,
there
totally.
from the
You just
beginning, you'll know. Like, oh, like I think they even show stuff them getting work done in the show. I feel like.
yeah, totally. We're excited for that. We're waiting to see. We can't wait to see like when the season switches and we're like, oh, you definitely got work done. Like you don't look the same. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like. But the thing is, like Tara was saying that in their interviews, they're like, oh, I just get like a little bit of lip filler. I just a little Botox.
Which is okay.
Like, I'm sure you don't, bro. Like, what?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
look
yeah.
totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. Like, Kendrick Lamar talked about that a lot in his, I forgot what song it was, but he would always talk about that. Like, give me the real, because there's so many things that are real.
Yeah, that's what I heard about like Hollywood. It's a lot of fakery.
Like fakeness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, honestly, if you watch like Kardashians and you go back, you're like, what happened to you? It's like you got better as you got older, which doesn't usually happen.
Right.
But
I think
your
it's also
money
like I think the show or the production of the show got better too. probably.
Oh, for sure. For
Right.
sure.
Like the
I hate when my
storytelling.
camera does this. Yeah, the storytelling did get better, but it's also like the mind blow just seeing them
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
you know? Like, yeah, no, the production value is totally, it's way better, way better. And every episode's 20 minutes before.
Okay.
So they'd be like half hour sets, whereas like now it's like a full hour plus,
Oh, okay.
you know? But yeah, no, it definitely did upgrade. It's just more for me is the mind blow, which is also kind of weird too, because it's like you see them as little kids, and I think Kylie doesn't want to put her kids on camera.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
the young, so she was like the little girl on the show. Like you see her doing like regular little girl things, and then now she's like a mom, and she doesn't want her kids on camera. And I'm like, that actually makes sense because when I watch these old videos of you, you're doing some dumb stuff, bro. Like you don't want to look back. I'm sure she looks back at those old episodes like, what am I doing? Like she's doing
Yeah.
like little kid things, you know. But if you capture that on TV, you're like cringe. I don't want to remember that. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah, that's true.
Right. But we all relive it and stuff. And I think maybe she's protecting her kids from that. But okay, so what I think is really interesting is people like Kanye West who, okay, maybe you're seeing the world in a different way, but there are some truths to what you're saying.
Sure.
Remember how he went on like the whole like Jewish hate thing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you look at the banking system, okay, I could see how you got to that point, right? I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying like I could see how you've traced the dots to that point, right? So there was a lot of hate from Kanye West around Kris Jenner, the mom.
Yeah.
So what he was saying is he's like, I don't want my kids to be prostituted like you prostituted your kids.
Right.
And I was like, bro, this is like negative. Like, what are you saying? And you watch the first season, you're like, oh, I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just like, it's like Kim doesn't want to do Playboy. And then her mom's like, come on, it's a great opportunity. And then her kids are like, you just want that 10% cut. And I was like, oh, there it is. Like Kanye knew. You know what I'm saying? Like Kim
No, I
didn't want to
get
do
that, but
right?
like,
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get that. Yeah. But also, they're in their position where they're at now because of their mom.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're like, she's the genius.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard a lot
Like,
of.
yeah, right. Don't bite the hand that feeds.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you like. Bro, it's just like decolonization. Everything's together, bro. You like technology? You like the fact that we're doing this? So why biting the hand that feeds?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like now they're flying
Right?
private jets. You're saying, right? So it's like,
True, bro. Can't bite the hand that feeds. You're right. You're right. Wow, that's the mind blow. Actually, that's the greatest. But that's a balanced perspective, right? I was like, oh, I don't like this. She's wrong, blah blah blah. And then you're like, no, look at like this. And like, you're right, actually. I mean, like you bring that up, like
Uh-huh.
that actually makes sense to me. It's like, yeah, of course, like you saw the crazy upgrade, but that was all because of the mom.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there was some negativity back in the day. We did come into your area and
Mhm.
take all your stuff. But look, it's so much better now, isn't it? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is like, hey, come on, guys. Like, I get it, but we like roads, right? I get it. We like the internet, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like going shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what was the biggest trip to me? Actually, there's like a lot of ironies, but there's one person that I was talking to like way before, and they were talking about that like decolonization stuff too. This is an old thing, right? Not a contemporary topic. It's been talked about for years. And I was like, "Oh, what do you like to do for fun?" Just like trying to talk to them like this regular person. I watch a lot of reality TV shows. I watch a lot of shopping shows. I'm like, those are all byproducts of colonization. Just saying. Shopping,
Mm-hmm.
cable TV.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't bite the hand. You're right. Don't bite the hand that feeds. Kris Jenner, good on you. Good on you. That's how I feel like this is like last week's podcast, and I was like, yo, what's so bad about the military? And you were like, yeah, but inventions of like military and industrial complex for the win. You're right. Like all these negative things that we think are like so bad, but it's like when you really give it some thought, it's like don't bite the hand that feeds. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I think
there
it's
are some bad
just, yeah, I think it's just easy to, I guess hate on things, but you don't really realize what they what
the
came out of it.
benefits that they've
Yeah.
given you.
Yeah.
That's true. And then you get those weirdos that are like, but we could have a better world, but we don't. Like, prove it to me. Who's gonna come up with that? Like, we're all just living kumbaya.
Well, let's see. Can you
Yeah,
show me another country that does better? It's all the same. Nobody's
yeah, that
done
doesn't
anything
do
different.
economics. Like,
Yeah.
is the Amazon doing better than America? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
if we lived in that like sharing time, when people are like, "Oh, we just like share things," I don't think so.
But didn't you say like also
Yeah.
like that's the reason why wasn't it in Peru because they were sharing that they or it was like a different
Uh,
not
no,
Peru,
no,
somewhere
that's
else?
no, it's Peru, but Peru had well, some of this like lighting is terrible. There we go. Um, the Peru had unlimited money, unlimited food. Like for every
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
they
yeah,
could
yeah,
feed them
yeah,
like
yeah.
4 times over.
Right, right,
So
right.
they had like a peacetime.
Right. Okay, okay. And then
Like
somebody came in and then
the
they
Spanish
weren't ready. Yeah,
came
yeah,
in,
for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and just like slaughtered them.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, we also don't know what. Okay, like let's say we had infinite money, infinite energy. Do you think we'd have peace?
Depends who controls that energy. Like you're saying infinite energy. Is that
Like the alien technology,
right?
like the Stephen. Or so basically, the Stephen Kerr thing that I brought up, I think last week, where it's like if you had infinite money and resources, all you can do is expand your consciousness. So you invent things like telekinesis, and like
Hmm.
have world peace, like all
Okay.
that stuff. I wonder if that's true. I don't know.
I don't know if I don't know.
Or would we just become lazy? Like like let's say you got everything.
Would
Would you
progress
really?
decline? Yeah, maybe progress
That's what I'm
could.
saying,
There's
right?
a possibility of both, right? There's like you can't say that's only one way, right? You could have progress,
Or
or because we don't really know that, right? I guess
or would you just have a bunch of people wasting time?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like let's
that's
say,
another possibility. Yeah, both
right?
could be.
Like no, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but then there'd be like a select few that are still pushing the envelope.
I think so. If that's in their desire, I
Like
guess.
if there's no negativity, how do you if there's nothing to push against, if there's
I,
nothing to
I,
progress against,
yeah. You know what? No, there wouldn't
how
be
do you progress?
progress. There's not gonna be any progress.
That's what my point, right?
Yeah.
So like if you the why do we invent things? Because there's a deficit,
Hmm.
right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this sucks. I'm gonna make it better,
Yeah.
right? That's why we invent things. What progress is. But if nothing sucks, why do you need to get better?
Yeah.
Maybe if
Yeah.
there was no, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If we had infinite energy, infinite money, maybe we wouldn't progress. We would just be like in a vat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
I feel like man, this Cameron's terrible. Any way to fix this fish?
I don't know. Maybe there's a way to lock it so that it doesn't
Yeah, maybe because like the light
automatically. Yeah.
like,
Doesn't.
keeps. Yeah, this is a
Uh.
non-issue if you're listening to a podcast. I'm just saying, like, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're like, why is his camera keep on going like dark? I'm like,
Yeah.
the light just switched on me. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just thinking like even like we don't realize that other inventions, right? Like even washing machines and dryers. Before it was all like
Hand.
all by
Yeah.
hand, right?
Like
But that's a whole labor
I don't want to do
system.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have just machines doing it, so we have more free time to do other things too, right? But like
Bro.
that's not,
Wait, hold on. No. Think about this. We all want world peace. Oh my God, it's such a mind blow. We all want the thing that we don't really want.
Mhm.
Everybody wants world peace. Everybody wants infinite resources. Everybody wants like positivity. But if it was all positive, there'd be nothing to strive against. There'd be nothing to work towards. Like quite literally,
Yeah.
the only reason why we do invent things or change things or make things is to make our lives better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you had everything perfect, it's like you would just waste time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we actually need the bad things.
I think so. I think we would just. I feel like that's also in our nature too, because we're problem solving by nature.
True. Even if we had like everything perfect, like uh your mind will create problems where there are none just to have a problem to solve. Right. So like for instance, I try to take really good care of my teeth, but if I'm going to the dentist, I start thinking I have a cavity.
Right.
You know, and like, oh, I got to solve for this cavity, right? I'm just afraid of it. But it's like there was no problem to begin with, bro.
Mhm.
But your mind created the problem
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
needed something to do. Maybe we just become more artists. That would be the thing. If you had everything, maybe you just like focus on art.
Yeah, but again, everyone has their own skills, right? I don't think that's
Oh, wait, no,
reasonable.
not everyone would become an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But even, all right, no, but think about also what is the impetus for art? Like, what is all good art? Like a representation of something negative or
Mhm.
something you want to change.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, right?
Mhm. Or a
Like
reflection of society, or there's things
yeah,
like that.
something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All good art, unless
Yeah.
you're drawing like a painting. But then if you have a painting, I'm like, just take a photo, bro.
Yeah.
Way better, you know. And yeah, maybe even art would die if everything is perfect. Maybe we really don't want perfection.
I don't think it. I don't. Yeah. I don't think it's in our nature to have anything perfect. I don't think that it will be detrimental in that sense.
Yeah, to us, right?
Yeah.
Like if we got everything we wanted, like name one thing that is good that has no negative associated
Like
with it.
even
Like,
even yeah, but even like even when we buy something or we wanting to get this thing and we get it, like there's a certain limit that you're gonna be happy with it.
true,
There's a
yeah,
limit to it, right? And it's just gonna
it
be like
won't
any other
last
product to you,
forever.
though. Yeah. It's like, oh, I got this new iPhone. It's so cool. Like for the first 2 weeks, and then it's like that's just like any other
And
iPhone
then you
now.
habituate, yeah,
Yeah,
and you're like, I want another iPhone, I want another iPhone.
yeah. But that means that we always need something. We need to always be
Yeah,
doing something. Yeah.
yeah. But maybe this continuous progression that we exhibit as a species is because we're bored. No, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say you just stopped with the iPhone.
Yeah.
It's sort of like retirement. You know, when people retire, and they're like, I'm bored. I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we have it so good in society now that we just invent things we don't even need.
But
Well,
that's
we
where the
will,
difference is.
yeah,
Where like, yeah, I've known that where it's like when people retire, if you don't have things to do, you die earlier.
right. And it's sort of like the inventions. So it's like, if you just stopped at the iPhone 14, we don't need a faster one. We don't need a better one. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this one will last forever. Just keep focusing on that. People will just like, well, what am I going to do with my life? I'm done. This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So like, we we need invention.
I feel like that would be mass suicide. Probably. I think that would happen if
Yeah,
that
right.
was the
Like think
case.
about that. Like
Yeah.
right, they'd be like, what am I gonna do? Like I'm not gonna make this faster.
There's no
I'm not gonna make this
progress.
more
Yeah.
lightweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the irony is that that's what people want. They're like, why don't we just stop? So like mass consumption, mass product development. It's like no, but that fuels like ingenuity. Like that just gives people something to do. Maybe we are literally at a time in our, because think about this: if we're hunter gatherers, the only thing is like we don't have any food, bro. So we gotta go and hunt.
Yeah.
Every day is just
Every
hunting,
day. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But as soon as we create agriculture, we're like, well, we have unlimited food. Now what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's progress. We got nothing better to do,
Yeah. Like, how do we
right?
make the
That's
progress
actually,
of this better? How do we make? It's always
yeah,
how do we make it better? How do we make it
problem
better?
solving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's just how it
yeah.
always is.
Well, actually,
How do we get
we're
the better
hitting on a lot of
crop, right? How do we get
topics.
the how
Yeah,
do we get
totally.
like more yield from the crop, right? If like 50% of this doesn't really get out to the market, then it's like splicing. It's like figuring out the
Yeah,
science, the DNA of the stuff,
totally,
or like all
totally.
that kind of yeah.
It's interesting. If you read the book *Sapiens*, they say that society began as soon as agriculture began, because
Mm,
that's when we had more time to think,
yeah.
right? And so there's that one. But then if you read like psychology books on why people have anxiety, and it has a lot to do with like our problem solving mind. So like if you're hunting for an animal, you have to think about the best way to trap it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever. You
Yeah.
need to protect yourself. You might be killed, right? Other tribes, et cetera, et cetera. But then when you don't have any of that, your mind starts to turn that into other things. It's like instead of trying to figure out the best way to capture an
Hmm.
animal, what's the best way to grow a crop, like you were saying,
Yeah. Right.
you know? And like that is fundamentally who we are as people.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't even really want world peace, because that would kill us. As that's the total antithesis of who we are as a
Maybe
species.
that's like a, let's say it's like a goal,
If
but I don't think we'll ever.
if all
You know what I mean? It's like
but but
it's
but if all problems were solved, no, but like it's so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
dumb,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I want all the world problems to be solved. Okay, done. Now you're like, now what do I do? I don't know. You still have 85 years left to live, though. Good luck. Have fun.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, what do I do?
Hmm. But I feel like maybe
But
there'll
like,
be,
actually,
but sometimes you don't even realize what the other next problem is going to be, right? Maybe you've reached that point. Let's say like you've reached that point with agriculture, but now there's still other things. We've gone into the world of technology. Maybe we focus on other things that we're trying to solve or reach. I don't know if that's the case, but
yeah.
like it, but they're all happening at right now. For in this world, it's all happening at the same kind of time, right? There's people focused on this or focused on that.
But it also another thing to think about too is a point of diminishing returns. Remember the iPhone 14 Pro, like the speed thing, and I had to turn it off. I was like, bro, this is making me nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
It's too good now. You know, like the refresh rate was like I was telling you, like as I was scrolling, it was so clear. Like there's no blur
Right.
as you're swiping because the refresh rate is so strong that it was making me nauseous because my eye didn't know when to stop looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's like there is a point where technology gets too good,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know? So even though you're like, maybe we'll always keep solving for something, like it's like an asymptote in math, you know, you like never reach that line. But maybe in the pursuit of that, we start having a point of diminishing returns. Like us problem solving is killing us. Actually, wait, hold on. Plastic straws.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Plastic straw. Turns out paper straws have way worse long-term damage on your health.
Our
That was
yeah,
us trying
individual
to
health. Yeah. Yeah.
that was us trying to problem solve,
Mm-hmm.
which backfired. Point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
The plastic straws were good enough, bro. You don't need to make them better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
was like, no, we gotta make them. Now we're getting paper straws. Oh crap, we gave all of us cancer.
Right.
You're like, oh damn. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Or like
but
that.
we
That
can't
was.
leave well enough alone.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we can't leave well enough alone,
No, I mean like yeah, like
right?
yeah, it was good, but I guess it's like also like what we're trying to solve too. It's like well, that wasn't the proper solution, or like fine, you want to get rid of plastics, but you have to figure out how to make something that's like a plastic that's I guess biodegradable. But papers are not the way. Like you know what I mean? It's like
Oh, right, right. And then we're gonna try and resolve again. We're
yeah,
gonna try and resolve again.
yeah.
True.
Like plastics is still a
Yeah.
problem, but like we we're jumping to like a solution that's not ready for the you know what I mean. It's not ready for what we
Yeah.
were used to, right? And what's actually so like now we're finding problems because we jumped too quickly with these paper straws. So
Yeah, totally,
maybe we
totally.
got to go in the hemp world and try to make something. I don't know. It's like someone's gonna find this technology where it's like
Yeah.
equivalent to the plastic because it was so much more convenient. You have to get to that level.
True. You know, like I'm really stuck on this. Don't bite the hand that feeds, because it's like if you like the protesters almost have to thank the thing they're protesting against because you wouldn't have a job. Like you wouldn't have anything to do.
Hmm.
You know, like these organizations like Greenpeace, right? Greenpeace is like, we're fighting against I don't even know what they're fighting against, but like
Okay.
climate change, maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
Like, or yeah, like, so I hate the oil industry, but I better thank the oil industry because they're giving you a job.
Hmm.
Let's say tomorrow oil industry's gone. Now
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Right.
Put out some resumes?
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 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 But this is another thing I saw, like an interview with a conservative guy uh, with the whole oil pipeline thing being canceled or whatever,
yeah,
right? But it's like,
okay, yeah.
and the guy was like, the reporter was like asking, "What are you gonna do about the climate change stuff?" Right? Well, he's like, "I want to remove the gas tax first," and then it's like, "But that's just what are you gonna do to help with climate change?" Well, that would be one thing. Would be like something that I didn't really think about, which is like because right now they're still shipping the oil, but they're using trains and trucks or whatever, right? That's a lot of
Okay.
gasoline used in the transport. Where if you had a pipeline, you wouldn't
That's
have
ironic.
that.
True.
That's how I'm gonna save my climate change.
Oh, that's true. Oh, wow. That's almost like it's like, how do you solve for something using the same things that got you into the mess?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you almost have to, you can't solve the idea with the same idea that got you here in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, like it's almost you have to like start new.
Hmm.
With the whole pipeline thing, it's like maybe you just need a whole new energy source,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Well, a pipeline would be the better method if you're thinking about
That's what I mean. Like, yeah,
saving.
no, agreed. Like, yeah, but you don't, like, it's like your, like the real, what it's like a toxic relationship. You're like, maybe if I do this, it'll fix it. No, maybe if I do this, it'll fix it. But it's like, maybe you just gotta drop it
Hmm.
and just start again, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's our relationship with fossil fuels.
Yeah. But you just can't. You just can't leave it yet. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't.
Because there's so many benefits, bro.
Yeah.
And it's ingrained into our lives.
Hmm.
That's so funny. It's like we are quite literally, society is quite literally a mirror of people. You know, people are like, we gotta change society. And I'm always like, you gotta change the people. Because
Yeah.
people are society, bro.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? That's why you have to start with the individual,
Hmm.
right? Because like literally society is just is like one person scaled,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just a bunch of people. Like
Hmm.
that's what society is. Like when people are like, you know what's funny? Actually, it was an interesting thought, like given that. You know when people are like, God, I hate the system. Nope, you hate people. So you hate people, bro.
Right.
You know, and like, but if you say it like that, it's like that's negative. No, I love people. I love everyone. So you love society. No, I hate society. You know what I mean?
It's made up of
Like
people. Yeah.
these arguments that I keep hearing are like incoherent. You're like, what do you mean,
Yeah.
bro?
Hmm. True.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody has thought, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean though?
True.
And then like sometimes the argument just dies on the vine.
Yes.
I've actually been in those situations before. I'm thinking about it now. It's like recalling where I'm like, oh, what do you mean? And then it's just like, you know,
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. I've seen those.
you
I've
know,
seen
you
those.
know. Yeah. No, I've experienced that too. Like just asking, like, what do you mean, bro? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just can you clarify?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like a, you know, like a like a talking point. You know,
Yes.
let me just throw
Yeah.
another one at you. Like,
Exactly.
oh, what do you mean by that though? Like,
Hmm.
oh God. But we don't take the time to be like, but it's not, you know what it is though?
I
Oh,
think.
what you're
I
gonna
think.
say?
I think. I think that. I don't know. I think people think that they all play with the same definitions, but we don't.
We don't. We don't. We do not.
No.
No, even on like things that like there's okay. So I did this like GBA plus training, like a long time ago. Basically, it's like gender-based analysis plus. So it was mandated by the government, and it gave so many definitions. Remember when I was first starting in this world, and we were having all of these discussions, like, what do you mean by like this term and this term and this term, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then after taking that training, I was like, oh, I understand now, because that training mandated by the government, created by the government, gave you like a set definitions.
Right.
But unless you had taken that training, people just started using terms like the LGBT2S, LGBTQ plus stuff, like all that stuff. It's like they just started using those terms for their own means.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they thought they knew what it meant.
Right.
But if you like read the standard definitions, like I can get down with that. Like as long as we all agree on the standard definition,
Yes, that's the only way that you can communicate with other people. You have
right?
to be. Yeah.
But nobody. But you're just like argue like, okay, why do you feel that way about that
Mm-hmm.
point?
Right.
Is it just because you feel that way, or did you read something that we're all supposed to collectively agree upon?
Right.
Like if the
Yeah, yeah,
government put that out, I'm like, okay, I can use these definitions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand what game we're playing now. These are the rules, right? But like if you speak to somebody that doesn't have an understanding of the rules, or they're using the rules to like bend to their own ideology, then it's like, what are we
Yeah.
arguing?
Right. 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 Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I think I learned that like when people didn't know what in depending on the context you're using the word theory meant. In scientific world, theory means different than in the just the regular world of theory.
Okay, you said this to me so many times. All right, can you go about it again? I don't remember.
Well, in
Like,
the world of scientific theory, it's just that there's so many levels of facts to it that its theory is governed as close to fact.
oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's evidence and other things like that. But in just the normal world, it's just like that would be equivalent to hypothesis, let's say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Well, like they should really make a more accurate definition. Like, they should make two different words for that. Because I get when you said theory and hypothesis, I'm like, oh, I get
it's technically called scientific theory, but people just say theory.
yeah, okay. Yeah. The Earth is round. That's a scientific theory. You mean a hypothesis?
Well, no,
You're
it's like
guessing?
even
No, I know
but
what you're
even
saying.
talking
No.
about that, it's like I've seen how people think that when they say gravity is a theory, but that's a scientific theory. But they will
Yeah, no,
those
that's what I
people
mean,
are
yeah.
using it as the flat earthers are using it as no, that this is the theory. It's not a real thing. It's not like
Yeah. It's actually, they're just guessing on it
Yeah.
being round.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but like there's facts associated with theory. Please Google scientific theory. There's a
Yes,
difference
yeah.
between that.
It still
no,
happens
I mean,
today. It still happens. So many like this is like the one first thing that I remembered long time ago, like figuring that out. Once I learned that, I was like, oh, yeah, this is why people don't know anything.
Fair. I didn't even know that. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. You know, I was thinking about this too as we were talking about this. But you're like, well, you can't just Google you can't know everything. It's like,
Mhm.
you're right. Just be happy. I think that's where I leave it. Like, you don't have to. If you're gonna come with an argument, come correct,
Sure.
right? Like, if you're gonna tell me why you think I'm wrong, you just have to lay it out, and I will be like, let me look at the evidence.
Mhm.
Cool, I get it. Like, we've done that so many times. Like, you've proven me wrong. I'm like, oh, I totally agree with your theory now, right? Like, military industrial complex all the way, you know. But like, you don't have to argue.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So like, I feel like with this podcast, you and I are always arguing over ideas that are within society. You know what I mean? Like, society's doing this thing and we're just like talking about it.
Mhm.
We're discussing
Yeah.
society, right? But you don't have to discuss society. You can just live as a happy person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to play the game that we're playing right now of like discussing ideas, then you should come correct with like you can't come with it like,
I think
you know.
yeah, I think it's a level of ego. I feel like if you come with thinking you're correct, right?
Yeah.
Then you're just arguing
Right.
for argument's sake. Then
Exactly. And everything that we're bringing up, I'm noticing a pattern and I'm bringing up the pattern to you.
sure, yeah,
I'm not like saying things to say things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like some people are just saying things to say things. But you don't have to do this. You don't have to play this game, bro. Like, this is just an intellectual exercise.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like, I think it's like when, I wonder if there is a problem when people have, because there's a lot of people that have like shifted away from religion, and like there's a lot of things that religion teaches that people are not doing anymore, right? Like when you're saying being happy, let's say. Well, like I'm just thinking of a simple thing like Thanksgiving. Like you're around the table, like saying what you're thankful for. Like that will kind of ground you. It's like, oh yeah, okay, these are like some good things that I have. But like if you're not doing these things to understand,
reflection,
then everything's gonna look bad if you're just only reflecting on bad things.
Bro, no, 100. Like that's so interesting. You said that. That's a interesting a tie-in of like Thanksgiving. But I always say that. I'm like, reflection is key.
Mm-hmm.
Like all we're doing is just reflecting on what we're seeing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like shouting for shouting. This is a reflective exercise. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what I think is interesting, I said this before. I read The Republic. Plato's. It's funny, we both got the same text message. Is that why you looked at? Yeah. I was like, oh, what's that? All right. I read The Republic. Actually, I have to go. All right. Damn, I was not paying attention to the time. Filipinos are always late. Whatever. Anyways, so I read The Republic, and in that, remember when I came away with it and I was like, oh, it's just a podcast. And so many people take like philosophies from like Plato and The Republic,
mm-hmm.
But if you read, you know what I'm saying, right? If you look at like philosophical people, they're like, well, Plato says here and Aristotle says here, blah, 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 right? A lot of these are just discussions. People don't know that. If you read the book, it's just a dialogue between two people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just two people talking about ideas.
Yeah,
which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which is like why it's called Socratic gamers. It's like you're using the Socratic method of being like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is this there? Why is this?
Yeah.
But that's like an actual philosophical exercise.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like we don't all need to do it, but to some degree we need to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We don't need to go so deep in the philosophical exercise.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. But I feel like we should still reflect. No, you know what it is? We need to reflect. It's like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, you're not really like going into the philosophical exercise of asking why. You're just reflecting on like, your life and life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Because I'm just thinking about people who like I don't want you to be a part of this discussion. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking about. Is like, just like go be happy.
Yeah.
Because if you just joined us, you would just be like, well, the left wing says, and you're like, all right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of like platitudes, and yeah, it's just like shallow. Platitudes are shallow. Right. And we run in a world of platitudes right now, which is why our movies are shallow. See how I made that circle?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. All right, anyways, I have to jump. I'm going to be late. All right, any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, whatever you want to do. Go watch Oppenheimer or go watch Barbie. Like, what's your feel?
No,
that's the thing.
You know what it is? No, you know what it is? That's true. Do what you were going to do. If you like Oppenheimer, go watch Oppenheimer. If you like Barbie, go watch Barbie. But we're over here watching Oppenheimer. So if you want to chat about Oppenheimer, we'll be here. But they'll be over there. And that's how you get along with society. You just accept it, bro. We don't all have to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that like certain things can go together. I can be cool with you liking Barbie. I just don't want to watch Barbie.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's world peace, bro. Just like agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you do you, bro.
Yeah.
You do you. I'm do me over here. Yeah. All right. Till next week. Apple's coming out. You
Yeah.
even filled me in on some cool stuff. I just got the 14 Pro, so I'm like, I'm not really Pro Max. I'm like not really looking to upgrade. But if there's something amazing, I want to hear about it.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Any MacBook stuff coming out?
Not in this one. Normally, it's always just the iPhone
Just phones.
or AirPods.
Oh, AirPods. All right, cool. All right. Till next week. Take it easy, Fish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Fish.
Peace.